Alright, what's up guys? Sorry, it's been a while since the last command tutorial because I've been kind of busy, but I'm planning on getting a whole bunch of uploads in the summer. So if you guys like these command tutorials, which it seems like you have, because so far the one I made earlier was our most popular video, so thanks for that. And today is going to be about the slash camera command, which in my opinion is the coolest command in Minecraft. Mostly because you can make your own custom camera angles, and you can even make a sort of spectator mode 2.0, which I'll show you later in the video. So, thanks a lot for 325 views on the last video, and I'm just going to jump straight into it. So, here are the basics of slash camera. So, the first thing is you can it's kind of boring, but you can lock a player's camera angle so that way it always stays the same. So, if look in here, it's gonna slash camera, or instead of using a slash, you don't have to do that because it's command block. Nearest player, set, which is the first subcommand that we'll learn. Minecraft first person. You have to use the Minecraft namespace here, or otherwise it won't work because that's part of how the slash camera command works. So basically, what this will do, it'll block like nothing happens at first. But if I try to go in F5, that perspective camera, the perspective cannot be changed because cameras that thing will show up, and basically I can lock myself to first person, which can be used like if you don't want someone cheating by using F5 to look behind them or something, you can do that. And also to get rid of this, you just do camera slash camera as clear. So that's basically that. It's pretty simple, but it can be useful sometimes. Now here's how you set a custom camera angle. This is a very simple example, and honestly, it's kind of stupid. But basically, same thing as before, but you set it Minecraft free instead of third person or first person or whatever. And then our second subcommand, position, abbreviated as POS. Basically, you just type in coordinates of somewhere that you want the camera to be positioned at. So if I go and add this, it looks kind of weird here because all I can see is grass. Basically, my camera is set to those coordinates, and I can't really see anything, but that like there's a lot more you can do with that, but that's just a demonstration of how you would do it. So that's pretty simple. And then you can also add a camera fades, which I'll just show you what it looks like, and I'll show you how it works. It looks pretty cool, right? So it's very simple, actually. It's one of the most simple things in this tutorial. So basically, same thing as before, but instead of using set, you do fade, and then you use time. Then you go 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, which basically means the time that you want it to fade in, like how, like basically the intro kind of like is starting to turn to black. Then how long do you want it to stay black? And then how long do you want it to fade out? So it creates 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So pretty simple, and also you can change the 0.5s, whatever you want to create a fade that looks good to you. So this is the exact same thing, but at the end we add the color subcommand, and then we use RGB, so 100 units of red, 100 units of green, and 100 units of blue. And if you combine those together, the fade just turns this gray color. And you can change whatever you want there. You can make it a cool fade, whatever. So this is beyond the basics, so you learned all that stuff. We won't really be revisiting fade that much, just because honestly it's so simple. But for all of this, we're going to be talking about custom camera angles. So the next subcommand will be the rotating subcommand, or ROT is abbreviated. And basically, well, what happens here is we use the execute command, which is why I actually didn't make this video first. I wanted to do this video first, but I thought it'd be better to use the slash execute command. So if you haven't seen my video on slash execute command, highly recommend watching that. And it was actually our most popular video right now, so I recommend watching it. Honestly, I really like it. But yeah, so basically, you execute as the nearest player with the tag cam1, which the reason why there's the tag cam1 is because basically, since it's always set to always active, right? If the command was like awkward, like if the camera angle was like 100 blocks above me and I can't see where my player is, and I don't know how to turn it off, like I don't want to hit the button or whatever, then I'll basically be soft locked in the world, which is actually something you gotta be very careful of. But if you had a tag, all you have to do is remove that tag whenever you're done using it, and then do slash camera as clear, and then that gets to the camera. So it's executing as nearest player with that tag at s, which you have to use the at because you're using positions like relative to that player. So you have to use as and at, so that way you can use at s, and also you can use relative coordinates. So you run the camera command, you set it to Minecraft free, and then use the position again to make it 5 blocks above you, and then 3 blocks in the positive z direction. Then you add the new subcommand, ROT, to 45 degrees in the horizontal direction, and then 200 degrees in the vertical direction, like up and down. So if we go ahead and add the cam1 tag, and just so you know, the slash tag command is really useful. You can learn how to use it, like, just from the suggestions that come up. So I'm not going to go over it too much. So as you can see here, it's kind of glitchy, but you can move around and look at, it actually follows the player. So that's pretty cool. But it's really glitchy, and it looks like it's you just teleporting around, kind of. So, but there's a very, very easy way to fix this, which if you use our new subcommand that we're about to learn, the ease subcommand, which basically it has many uses, but the main two are just basically here. So first you have to same thing as before, but with tag cam2, and then you put ease before position or rotate, just because that's just how the command works. I don't know why, but that's how it works. So then you write how long you want the ease to last, because you can use it to make an animation almost whenever you like move the camera. Instead of just teleporting right there, if you use the ease, it will move in a certain, like, basically the way you want it to, specified by this. So this is linear, so it'll go straight to it. But there's some animations like in out circle and stuff like that that you can use to make like cooler animations for it, which actually I'll post a link in the description to a website that'll show you all the different animations and what they do. So for now, it's going to be using linear because we want to make it so it looks less glitchy. So we can make it 0.1 seconds, very short, and then we go ahead and add the camera 2. Same thing as before, but we add the ease. We're going to add the cam 2. Then whenever we move around, it's not that glitchy. And the only slight downside of this is sometimes the camera is like ever so slightly behind where you're actually moving, but it's 0.1 seconds. Like, we can live with that. So that's how you can make it look like it's just less and more clean and not glitching around all the time. And actually, if you use anything less than 0.1, it starts looking like that again ever so slightly. So I recommend not going any lower than 0.1 if you're doing something like this. So if we go and remove that tag, then go to click camera. Now we're on to, basically you can make camera animations like I said earlier. So basically we're saying it's Minecraft free, and then we use the E, then in and out circle. And that's one of the things you can use. There's like 40 or something other ones. And, 5 blocks above you, 5 blocks in Z direction. And actually, this is from the command block, not from the player, because I didn't really feel like I was too lazy to do that for some reason. So whenever you do this, it makes that cool animation. And again, I'm using a 3-second animation instead of a 0.1 second, because obviously you really only want to use that if you're trying to make the camera look cleaner. So if we go ahead and clear the camera, then we can move on to the next one, which this one's a little bit weird in my opinion, and I feel like you aren't going to use it a ton, but it's just something kind of cool you can do. So basically, same thing as before, 0.1 linear, like you do these and all that, but instead of like the squiggly things, use the caret, which is kind of weird, but basically it goes from the position of which way that you're looking instead of just the position of the player. So here, there's no rotation, but we go ahead and run this, and it's also 7 blocks above where you're looking and 5 blocks in the z direction of where you're looking. Excuse me. So if I go and add the cam3 tag, then we get kind of this cool looking, like you look like it's weird, but you kind of this cool little effect, and basically wherever you look, that's where the camera moves. So it's kind of cool actually, and depending on, you can use it to move around your world a lot faster actually. Because look, like, say I would just scale this up to like or not that. It's this one. Say I scale this up to like, I don't know, let's say like 100 or something. You can move around this world really fast, and it's actually it's a little bit interesting, but that's just a simple way you can kind of make the camera move around with you. Honestly, I think it's kind of cool, but I don't think you'll use it a ton. So this next one is similar, but I think it's actually a lot better. And it helps. You can use it to make way cooler camera effects. So we've been locked just using one rotation the whole time. Well, with this, we can, if we use the little squiggly things of the rotation, it'll make it so wherever the player is rotating, the camera will also rotate. So same thing as before, but 5 blocks above you. So if I go ahead and add the cam4 tag, then it's 5 blocks above me. But then you can like move around, and it actually kind of looks like you actually have control over the camera. It's just in a different spot. So in my opinion, I think that the existence of that right there is pretty nice, because if it weren't for that, then actually the entire Spectator Mode 2 thing I was talking about would not be possible. So, next thing is you can change the camera to detect whenever a player is crouching. So what I mean by that is, how whenever you crouch, your camera goes a little bit lower. Well, if we've tried that with any other commands, like let's go ahead and add that cam4 tag again. If I'm crouching right now, it doesn't show up on the camera. But with this next thing, and actually, this is kind of funny. So in my last video, I said that execute anchored is basically useless because you can just use relative positions for that, but I didn't realize that it actually detects whenever you're sneaking, so it makes it 1.5 blocks instead of 2. So actually, whenever I run this thing, same thing as before, but only 3 blocks above, um, whenever I go ahead and add cam5, then whenever I shift, it's kind of hard to tell, but I'm shifting right now, the camera actually moves with it. So this is a very small touch, but like if you just want to make it clear, like that you're shifting and to make it look more realistic, then you can do that. It's really not that hard. So here's these other two, which I actually have a theory why they were added. So first I'm going to go and show you what it is. It's just the same thing as the beginning, set Minecraft fixed boom, and then the follow orbit. My theory on why these were added, because these were not around not that long ago, I think they were added because the Happy Gas uses a new FOV. Like whenever you read the Happy Gas, if you go into third person, it'll actually make your FOV way larger. I think that this is why these two were added. And actually, what's kind of cool about this one is it prevents your head from moving. Like if you look, I'm trying to move my head, but like it teleports it back. So actually, this is kind of interesting if you wanted to make it so your player can't move their head. So most cameras, like, sure, the camera won't rotate with the player, but this actually prevents like the actual player's head from moving. So I think it's actually kind of interesting. So if I go ahead and take this back, this next one, follow orbit, I think this one was the same one they used for the Happy Gas, in my opinion, because it's like F5 but further scaled back. So I think that I don't know anything for sure, but I think that these were added for the Happy Guest. So I don't know for sure. These might have been in before, but you guys tell me. I'm not really sure. Now we're done with basically everything with Flash Camera. Um, there's not a ton of other stuff you can do. I mean, it'll take some practice to get used to it, but there's not a lot of other stuff I can teach you. So now we're on to Spectator Mode 2.0, which is a little bit weird and in some ways a bit more limited than regular Spectator Mode. But what's cool about it is, in Spectator Mode, you can just move freely wherever you want. Well, whenever I use these commands, I can still spectate, like nothing can interact with me at all, like because it's just a camera, not the actual player. But it's also limiting me from moving within, like, outside of certain walls. So this is a little bit weird, and it's kind of depending on your scenario. If your area you want players to spectate is too big, you have to make a full copy of it. See, like here, there's basically 2 rooms, one on the top and one on the bottom. And basically, the way that it works is, I guess I should go ahead and explain everything. So, I actually added a scoreboard of Spectator mode because there's 2 different states of Spectator that you can be in. Or I guess 3. There's 0, 1, and 2. So, the scoreboard video, again, that's actually my next video plan. So, you'll know what that means in a little bit, or you can just look it up on your own. So, basically, this teleports all players with the scores of the Spectator score 1 to these coordinates, which is actually the top room. And the reason why it's spectator equals 1 is because I don't want the players to constantly get teleported. Then there's no spectating. Then let's go ahead and set all the basically sets all the players that have a spectator score of 1 to 2. It's pretty simple. Basically, I'll explain all this later, but basically it just sets that to 1 from everything that has everyone that has spectator score of 1, spectator score of 2. Then here's the camera command. So again, pretty simple stuff. This time it scores spectators equals 2, so the camera command is still being run, but not teleport command. And then executes at s, because we're using relative position and we're using at s, so you can do that. And then same thing, set Minecraft free, ease 0.1 linear, all that stuff. But this time we're putting the camera 4 blocks down because that happens to be how it works. And then we're rotating the camera in the same direction the player is. So whenever I go ahead and a scoreboard, so if I go ahead and set the spectator score to 1, then I'm spectating this, but I'm still confined by this. And like obviously in a real spectator mode, you would add a command box that sets you to like adventure mode, and you'd put invisibility and stuff, so and like resistance, so nothing could happen to you. But this is basically like the thing about this. The main reason why you wouldn't just make yourself invisible, like with invisibility, and then hide the particles, is because players can still hit you with this. The camera command, it's just a camera, like nothing can hit you. So like if you're spectating like PvP or something, there's no way you can interfere with the fights. So that's something I don't think anyone has really covered, especially in Minecraft Education, because actually this, if you're looking around, and I know it sounds kind of stupid. Why would I want to like? Who cares about Minecraft Education? Well, it's a long story, but basically, at one point, I had to figure out how to add Spectrum mode to Minecraft Education. So this is the way that I found, and I have not actually found a single way to do this online. So this might be one of the only videos that covers what I'm talking about. So if one of you is looking for like a way to get Spectrum mode in Education, here's your video. So I know it's kind of limited, but it still works. So, and also, even if you're just in Bedrock Edition, like you can still use this. Like it's still pretty cool. Like you can still confine players. Like you could never do that in spectator mode. And you can't interfere with anything. Like I think it's just really cool that you can even do this. But anyway, I've been yapping a lot, but basically that's just the gist of the slash camera command. I mean, there's not a lot of other stuff I can show you other than maybe like making a spectator mode that can go everywhere, which actually is possible, but it's a little bit annoying. And I tried to do it, but I eventually just didn't really feel like doing it anymore. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, like, please subscribe. Like, I know I kind of yapped a lot at the end, but like, actually, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And if you want to keep seeing command tutorials, just leave a comment. And I don't know what else to say. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.